Welcome to issue 302 of Critical Encounters, a podcast about Marvel Champions, a living card game by Fantasy Flight Games. Here we take a good look at that most critical piece of the game, the encounter sets. We'll discuss those poorly understood characters, unfairly labeled villains, and their various plans to shape humanity and benefit the planet, as well as those so-called heroes intent on thwarting them. I'm one of your hosts, Brent, also known online as Lack of Subtlety. Joining me are Steve
Hello, welcome.
and Scott.
Hi, Brent. Welcome to the lair.
Happy to be here, episode 302. So you guys did episode 301. You guys brought in the lead designer of the game, and the episode 302, following it up, bringing the thunder. You're bringing in me. So it's a new century of episodes, and you're starting it off right.
Starting it off with two quality folks. That's right.
Exactly. That's
This is your first time on the show, but some people might know you from around the community. Lack of Subtlety, you go by on the Discord, and we have seen you at various conventions. You've been on a couple of our community recaps, but we haven't really got a chance to, do a deep dive into who is Brent.
Oh
So I think
man, and the people are thirsty for it, I'm sure.
Oh, we
So
get constant emails about it.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that guy who gets 2 or 3 likes on his decks on Marvel CDB. That's who we've been waiting to hear from.
That's 2 or 3 more than the likes than I get on my deck. So,
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. Folks will notice that Daniel's not here. He said something about you and him have beef, and you know what he's talking about. So we'll have
Yeah,
to maybe circle around.
it's painful, and I deserve his hostility. That's all I'll say.
Okay. Well, while Daniel's not here, let's get to know you, shall we?
Sure.
Okay. So Brent, how long have you been playing Marvel Champions? Let's start with a nice easy one.
I've been playing since pretty much the beginning. I had never played a living card game before, but I had really wanted to. I kept looking at them at my local game shop and be like, I want to get into these, but they're too big, they're too involved. I'm too intimidated to get into them. And then Marvel came out. I'm like, awesome! It's a living card game. I've been wanting to try these out, and it's something that I already know about and enjoy. So I think I got in right after Cap came out, and I've been here the whole ride.
Yeah, that's pretty quick. It's basically its start. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been posting up decks on Marvel CDB since like 2020 or so. So
have you played other games though? Maybe not living card games, but other gaming stuff?
oh God, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Games are what I do. So board games, video games, role playing games, live action role playing games. If it has the word game in it, I've probably done it in some fashion or another.
Here. So, Brent,
Yes.
who is your favorite villain? We love the villains. I'd like to
Okay.
know who you
Yeah,
love most, other than Steve, clearly.
In the game.
I mean,
Favorite villain in the
he's my
game.
overlord.
Yes.
I can say
Favorite
I cannot
villain
say otherwise.
in the game that you can
In the
play.
game, yeah.
Okay, my favorite Marvel villain all time, hands down, is Taskmaster. I have his very first appearance in comic books in my collection right over here right now. Yeah, I've been he's always been my favorite. As far as he my favorite, favorite design of villain scenarios, probably not. I still play him a lot. I think my favorite designed villain right now, I'm having a lot of fun with Zemo. I really like playing Zemo.
Okay.
I like him too, actually. I like him not in the campaign. I think he's very fun to set up and just play, which I found surprising.
Yeah, that's how I play him most of the time. I just break him out and change up the modulars a bit and have some fun with him.
Yeah, you don't have to have all that campaign built in to do the guessing, right? Because the scenario plays well enough without it. So
it's built right in. So
yeah, it's built in. You just start with the stuff out there, so you kind of have to work from scratch. But it's a little bit easier when you play it not in campaign, so it's fun.
Have you ever guessed wrong, Brent? Have you been like, oh, I definitely know it's this, and it's not?
One time, it just happened just the other day where I let myself really get backed into a corner and had to guess early. I was playing solo with a Maria Hill deck, and I really just got off to a terrible start, and I'm like, I'm just gonna guess it. I'm pretty sure I got it, and I had one thing wrong, and just pretty much instantly lost.
Well, we like to see the heroes lose here,
Yeah,
obviously.
no,
So
or in that case, actually, Zemo won
Zemo won.
because
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
I recklessly underestimated him, and he showed me the errors of my ways.
Yeah, good, good. Yeah, know your audience here.
He's good for
Um,
that.
so you got to pick a hero in order to play this game, but you really want to see this hero get beat up and lose as much as possible. Who's that hero?
Okay, so I had to think about this, and my pick is going to be Peter Parker. Um, because the thing about Peter Parker getting beat up is he is someone who can lose, and it will affect. Actually, he can actually lose and have it continue to be a thing that happened in the story. Most heroes that get beaten up, they pop right back up again and somehow defeat the villain, and it's lame. Whereas Peter Parker is just his life is just one string of disasters, and he's had long-standing effects from being defeated by villains. So yeah, Peter Parker because he takes his losses, you know.
I like that. That's a good one.
Good choice. So, Brent,
Yeah.
do you have a big history with Marvel? Was this sort of like your introduction, or have you like read a lot of the comics, and do you have much of a background with the broader Marvel comic universe?
So when I was young, me and my buddy Travis, we were the Marvel guys in our neighborhood, and he would read like Fantastic Four and X-Men comics, and I would read Avengers and a few other odd things, and then we would share our comics back and forth, so that we were able to afford and read multiple titles. So I was reading all that stuff back in the '80s, and then I wasn't able to keep up with it. I fell out for a long time. I came back and read some of Kurt Busiek's stuff once I discovered Astro City. And I was like, oh, this guy's incredible. I want to read some of his stuff. So I looked up his Marvel stuff, which was also great. And so I've done some sporadic reading since then. But I do like to actually sort of keep up with what's going on in the world of comics. So I like to pop on and just like read summaries of stuff that's going on because I can't keep up with the million comic titles that are out there. I do like to find out some of the wackiness that's happening in comics.
I'd be impressed if you could read everything that came out because there's a lot of stuff.
No
Yeah,
kidding. It's unbelievable how many comics come out every day these days.
yeah. And it's one of those things that's hard because like if you mention that you read comics, people just assume that you read everything. And I'm
Right.
like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about
Yeah,
there.
or that you read what they read. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So who are your favorites to read?
My favorite, well, like I say, I was always an Avengers guy growing up.
Yep.
So I love the Avengers. Uh, I'll read pretty much any Hawkeye book you sit in front of me.
Oh man, we're gonna have to kick Brent off the show now. Uh, who is that? Oh, is that because you like to see him like take a hit? Never mind. I'm sure it's because you like to watch him lose. It's okay.
Hawkeye is good at getting beat up. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah, okay.
question that depending on who's writing him, he will take his lumps. But just like anybody else, he happened to feature in some stories prominently when I was getting into comics, and that's how everybody finds their favorite comic book character. Is that's what you were reading when you first started reading comics and you got interested. So that he was there when I got started, and there were some good stories with him, and I've been a Hawkeye guy ever since because yeah, it's like picking your favorite sports team. You just whatever you happen to stumble into when you were young, you just pick it, and that's your thing.
And you could never change it. That
Yeah,
football
and
team that you picked at 9, you must continue to like them no matter how bad they are for the rest of your life. That's the rules,
exactly.
folks. I didn't write those rules, but that's how it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like anybody else. You complain about the coach, or in the case of comics, you complain about who's right. And I'm like, this guy doesn't understand the character. That's why he sucks right now. You know.
That's right. Good stuff.
All right, well, Brent, this is great. We're glad to have you on, but we're not here just to talk about you.
Oh,
We're going to talk
absolutely
about
not.
some other things. Usually we have a guest on for a reason.
Yeah, there's something that's been bothering me that I've wanted to know about this show ever since I started listening to it because I came in a little late. I came in like in the 150s or so and had to backtrack and catch all the way back up. Um, but I've always wanted to know, Steve, what's on your mind tonight?
It's on my mind. Oh, no, I
Yes.
don't get asked that often. Thanks for asking, Brent.
Well, I'm happy to oblige.
Well, this is our villainous show, It will be out a
Hey,
few
yeah.
days later, will be a Villainous, so I thought it was only fitting that I read a poem, especially since Daniel usually reads poems, but he's not here. So I'll read a poem. Uh, and this is "'Twas a Night Before Villainous Orion edition," because I
Ooh.
want to make it theme up with what we're doing tonight. So you guys up for that? You want to hear that?
Yeah, dude, do I need to get, like, some hot cocoa or something to settle in front of the fire before we begin, or
Yeah, I'm gonna put on some sleigh bells in the background, and we'll turn light the fire. And now that's all the ambiance is set, I can let me read this for you guys. "'Twas the night before Villainous, in S.H.I.E.L.D's floating domain, where silence meant danger and danger meant pain. The agents were dreaming of holiday cheer, unaware that their downfall was creeping so near. Leviathan operatives slunk through each steel corridor, leaving frostbitten dread on the helicarrier floor. And leading the strike with a star's burning glow was Orion, commander of darkness below. His voice echoed coldly, 'Tonight is the night, the villainous eve when we snuff out their light.' The infiltrators nodded, prepared for the deed, like wolves that had finally cornered their feed. When suddenly, clang from the deck overhead, came footsteps that heroes once followed with dread. A shadow in trenchcoat, battle-worn and thick, the hardened old soldier, Fury St. Nick. 'Orion,' he growled, 'your tricks end tonight. You're not acquiring the formula without one hell of a fight.' The villain just chuckled, eyes shimmering bright. 'Director, please, tonight's mine by right.' Fury struck first with a gadget's sharp flare, lighting the darkness with shield-crafted glare. But Leviathan's forces swarmed in like a tide, and even Fury's resolve had nowhere to hide. Orion stepped forward with a strike of his hand, a hit that humbled S.H.I.E.L.D's longest-lived man. Fury staggered backward, jaw clenched in defiance, but he was sent to cold storage by the Wheels Alliance. 'Still standing?' Orion mocked, 'like a tall holiday tree. But joke's on you, I'm tougher than thee.' With a final bright crack, like a star going white, Orion hurled Fury straight out of the fight. The helicarrier shuddered, alarms howling in fright, but Leviathan spread laughter, savoring the night. The agents were captured, the systems undone. The villains had taken this battle and won! Orion stood proud at the ship's highest height, claiming the sky like a conqueror's right. He gazed at the world with unholiness bright. 'Happy Villainous to all, and may you heroes lose tonight.'"
bravo, bravo.
Bravo. Bravo. Wonderful.
And then I do have this great picture here of Fury St. Nick.
I love it.
For those doing pure audio, let me describe it as a picture of like Samuel L. Jackson style Nick Fury with the eye patch and a gun, only he is wearing Santa Claus garb.
I found this image. Well, I took this image off of Boom Guy's current deck that he has posted for Nick. It's like a holiday themed, and he put this photo out there, and I texted him, said, "I'm stealing this image." He's like, "Go for it." So it's ours now.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, Merry Villainous to everybody. Happy Villainous, Happy New Year, all that sort of stuff. But Brent is here because he is going to talk to us all about a nemesis. And if you couldn't guess, we're going to do Nick Fury's nemesis, Orion. So, Brent, take it away.
Excellent. So I figure the first thing we need to do is to establish Leviathan. So after World War II, the Soviet Union found itself competing for global influence with the United States and other Western powers. They restructured their intelligence agencies in the mid-50s into a central command. I won't attempt to pronounce the name in Russian, but it is abbreviated KGB. Translated to English, that's the Committee for State Security. Its main functions were foreign intelligence, counterintelligence, operative investigative activities, guarding the state border of the USSR, guarding the Soviet leadership, preserving the security of the government communications, as well as combating dissidents and separatism within Soviet society. So all the spy stuff. In the world of Marvel comics, however, there was also a secret branch of the KGB called Leviathan. Despite it being secret, it numbered 100,000 members, which
Whoa.
is that rivals the numbers
lot.
of the entirety of the real world KGB.
I have a
So
hard time with like the 6 guys who know where the secret layer is keeping their mouth shut. But
exactly
100,000? Holy moly.
100,000 members. Um, so Leviathan was led by a man. Now, we don't get to learn much about his history before Leviathan and him enter into the actual like Marvel Comics story. They seem to be just sort of doing the same thing as the KGB. This whole shadow KGB was doing basically. We do see a picture of him wearing a military uniform before he takes on like his full Orion identity. So we can assume, like most senior KGB officers, that he's like a former Russian military officer who worked his way up through Soviet intelligence agencies. But that's just my educated guess.
So we could
Um,
kind of guess like S.H.I.E.L.D, FBI, CIA. Okay, we have KGB, Leviathan, right? Like
Right.
Yeah,
they're all yeah,
he
okay.
probably some sort of KGB agent, KGB officer. That certainly is what he is when he enters into the story. It just doesn't really explain much of how he got to be that person. Um, what we do see of him, though, he's cunning, treacherous, and very focused on Leviathan's victory. He seems devoted to the Soviet cause, and we hear him be critical of capitalism and Western culture. Um, but he seems to be equally motivated by achieving power for himself and for Leviathan, as much so as he does for any kind of idealistic reasons. Um, so our story, when he enters into the story of Marvel Comics, it begins with him during the Cold War when a mysterious figure named Ares contacts a bunch of Marvel espionage characters and invites them to join a group called the Great Wheel. So Orion is invited, Nick Fury Sr. is invited, Dum Dum Dugan, the leader of Hydra, Baron Strucker, the leader of the Ninja Clan, the Hand, and a bunch of other characters. It turns out here's where we're getting into bananas now. Okay,
Yeah, okay.
so Ares, it turns out to be, is a time traveling Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah, awesome.
So Leonardo da Vinci turns out belongs to a secret order of an ancient order of scientists and mystics called the Brotherhood of the Shield, that dates all the way back to the days of Imhotep in Egypt. Pretty much any historic notable who's known for being smart is somehow connected with the Brotherhood of the Shield. So Imhotep, Galileo, Isaac Newton, Nostradamus, all of these people are members of the Brotherhood of Shield.
Interesting.
And yes, the Brotherhood of the Shield is the predecessors to the modern Marvel Comics Shield.
Okay.
So all of these people eventually led up to Shield's existence. They've been protecting the world since the time of the Egyptian pharaohs against things like food invasions, these alien invasions, and they even took on Galactus one time before he ever showed up in Fantastic Four comics. And below Rome, they have an entire hidden city, like Renaissance architecture, full of people and stuff, called the Immortal City, that is buried down below Rome, and that's where the.
You're not supposed to give away their secret location. Come on, man.
No, I mean they see themselves as heroic,
Oh,
so
okay, okay. So we want to know where it is. Yeah,
yeah,
all right.
I'm just aiming villains at them at this point. Yeah,
Yeah, all right.
Fair enough.
Next trip to Rome, I'll make sure we take a look
yeah.
for it.
Can we see the hidden city down below here? That has like flying cars and stuff. Yeah. So Da Vinci sends Orion and all the other people off to collect 3 hidden pieces of lost or alien technology. One group of them finds this alien power source that's like a piece of brood technology. Nick Fury Sr.'s team finds the very first life model decoy, which are these robotic decoys that S.H.I.E.L.D. uses to impersonate themselves. It's a comic book device that they can kill off characters and have them come back later, much like Doombots.
Clones. Yeah.
Except it turns out that Da Vinci invented them and had used one to impersonate himself, and that's what they found. And Orion's team finds this giant facility full of like cryogenic hibernation tubes. So Da Vinci expects them to all work together and to use this technology to help themselves out and make their organizations more powerful. But Orion finds out that if you store people in the hibernation tubes, source that they found to power it, that the people will basically come out of the tubes as super soldiers.
Okay.
So he thinks, I want Leviathan to have super soldiers. So he steals the alien power source, and then he takes all 100,000 members of Leviathan and himself and crams them all in all these tubes and attaches the alien power source to it. But he can just turn them all into super soldiers.
Wait,
But
does he crams all 100,000, or he's thinking of doing that?
no, he does it. Yeah, he takes the
How
power
come these
source.
guys aren't like a bigger thing in the comics than
Talk about
like?
putting all your minions in one basket. Like,
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
no, I mean, you think you do like half, right? And then like keep the other half to make sure the tubes are saved, and then like nobody
Make sure it works
is a little
first. Yeah,
make
yeah.
sure it
Somebody
works.
takes you out of the tube.
Yeah, what happens?
He does leave like a couple of people out who are like his most loyal minions to sort of oversee the thing. But he also sets it up so that he routes a little bit of the power from all 100,000 tubes into his tube so that he gets to 100,000 times more effect from it. And somehow this results in him being able to die 100,000 times. So you can kill Orion 100,000 times before he will actually die. So yeah,
Okay.
that's his whole plan. Okay, so bunch of super soldiers, and he's the superest of the super soldiers. However,
It's not a terrible plan.
Yeah.
There have been worse plans.
there have been worse plans.
There have been worse plans. Yeah.
I'm not really faulting the plan, except for this part where Hydra manages to steal the alien power source. So they make off with that. So Orion and Leviathan are trapped in the tubes for decades. You know, while Hydra hides off and just like, okay, we've gotten rid of one of our rivals. And it takes decades for those two loyal agents to eventually track down the power source, steal it back, and attach it to the tubes and release Leviathan out in the modern day. Now, this whole effect also mutated a bunch of the Leviathan soldiers, so they became like these weird alien hybrids. And you all is around when they came out. It's around the time they all started that weird wearing that weird like alien armor that Orion wears. There's no explanation of why they started wearing that stuff. I just fashion changes, I guess. But then Leviathan shows up, and there's a big like three-way war between them and Hydra and Shield. And it's global. It's like just happening everywhere. But then it turns out that Nick Fury Sr., back in the day when they first set this whole thing up, had booby-trapped the hibernation process so that the supercharging would be more than it was supposed to be and would actually burn up their lifespans. So yeah, they would be super soldiers, but they wouldn't live for very long once they came out of the tube. So in the middle of their big war with S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra, all of Leviathan basically died off. Except for Orion, who had 100,000 lives, and he escapes off to go be a supervillain, but he's burning through all of his 100,000 lives really quickly.
Interesting.
This is the point where we run into the part of the story that is completely set up as to why does Nick Fury Jr. look like Samuel L. Jackson?
Okay.
So tell us, why is that?
All right. So since the 1960s, Nick Fury looked like the guy on the card for Nick Fury Sr. He was a middle-aged white dude. He fought in World War II. That's always what Nick Fury looked like. Then around the 2000s or so, they came out with a set of comics called Ultimate Comics, which was a new restart of the thing. And the guy who drew it thought, what if Nick Fury looked like Samuel L. Jackson? Because Samuel L. Jackson's awesome. So they drew him to look like Samuel L. Jackson. And everybody liked it, including Samuel L. Jackson. So much so that when they started making the Marvel movies, everybody said, well, why don't we make Nick Fury look like this version of Nick Fury because Sam Jackson is down for playing him. So they did. And now all the people who only know Marvel characters from the movies pick up the comics and they're like, who's this old white dude that's saying he's Nick Fury? So this whole next part of the story happened just as a way to make the regular Marvel Comics Nick Fury character look like Samuel L. Jackson. So moving on to our next part of the story. Orion then found out about an Army Ranger named Marcus Johnson. Marcus Johnson is actually Nick Fury Jr. He's Nick Fury Sr.'s secret son, who's been living his whole life under a fake identity and doesn't even know anything about being Nick Fury. Back in the day, Nick Fury had taken a less effective version of the super soldier serum called the Infinity Formula. This was before he fathered Nick Jr., and as a result, Nick Jr.'s body generated the Infinity Formula on its own within it. It wasn't just like a supplement, his body actually made it. Orion wants to capture Nick Fury and extract that from him because he's burning through all his lives. He's like down to his last life now, and he's rapidly burning through it and is this withered old man. So he sent assassins to kill Nick Jr.'s mother to draw out Nick Fury Jr., and then he could capture him. And in the process of this whole storyline, Nick Jr. finds out who he really is and who his dad is. But he ends up getting caught by Orion. While he's caught, Orion cuts out one of his eyes so that he would look more like his dad, as kind of a sick joke, and then uses the formula in Nick Jr.'s blood to restore his body back to being young and healthy again. Of course, you get two Nick Furies in one place together. He's captured him and his dad. They end up escaping. During the escape, Orion corners Nick Jr., and Jr. sets off a bomb that just straight up kills Orion and gives him like some facial scars that finishes up the transformation into him looking like Samuel L. Jackson. Appearing in 15 entire issues, Orion is dead and has stayed dead for the past 13 years. And Nick Fury has gone on to become the new Nick Fury in Marvel Comics.
So wait, the Nick Fury Sr., old white guy Nick Fury, has Nick Fury Jr.
Yep.
Young white guy.
Nope, young black man. His mom's African American.
Okay, all right, that makes more sense to me now. Go on.
Yeah, and that's Orion's history. Like I say, he had his run where he worked with Leonardo da Vinci and had his big war with Hydra, and then all of his guys died, and then he got into it with the two Nick Furies, and he got blown up, and he's been dead ever since.
Yeah, too bad about poor Orion staying dead. He had 100,000 lives, and he just wasted them all in a couple years.
And all because of Nick Fury Sr. He's deceptive and tricksy.
Yeah, these S.H.I.E.L.D. guys, I tell you, no good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was good. That's good lore. I remember learning a little bit about that when we previewed these cards. We were able to do the spoiler for this. Thank you, FFG. But I did not know any of that about why he was Nick Fury's nemesis. This makes sense now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, and admittedly, for most of the time that Nick Jr. has been running around, Orion's been dead for most of it. That was all pretty much happened during his origin story. But yeah, it works for him as a nemesis.
Yeah, I mean, Marvel Champions is in this Flux Earth. What is it? 243, something like that.
Yeah.
That we,
it's things are different here. Maybe Orion didn't get killed by a bomb and is just running around being a menace.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to look at these cards because there's some neat lore, and let's see if they've been able to pull in some of that to the cards themselves. I think that'll be good. I think that's where we're at, right? Should we look at some cards?
I am totally down for looking at some cards.
All right, so we are going to look at Nick Fury's nemesis, Orion. This arrives in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. box, Wave 9, 5 cards, 4 by title, plus the obligation. Mike's not here, Daniel's not here. I'm going to make Scott read it. Scott, give us the obligation for Nick Fury.
Discovered. It is the obligation. Give to the Nick Fury player. When revealed, change to assault suit form. If there is no threat on your suit form upgrade, this card gains Surge. Otherwise, choose to either take 1 damage for each threat on your suit form upgrade, or remove each threat from your suit form upgrade. In either case, discard this card. It has 2 boost icons.
I like it.
Yeah.
It works with what his special power is. It doesn't always hit him very hard. It really depends on how many tokens he has on his suit at the time.
Yes.
Most definitely does.
It can be kind of nothing, but then it also doesn't go away.
Yeah, it's one of those that never leaves the game, so you might see it again. I have had it hit at like just the wrong time where it's like, well, I can't take 6 damage, and I don't want to lose all my threat, so it can be impactful. Uh,
It also auto switches you from stealth to assault,
yeah,
and you
Mhm.
can't just go back to stealth, right? I think that's one of the big things this does. Obviously, the other stuff can really hurt, but it always pushes you, unless you're like in an aggression deck and you're just trying to deal damage, in which case you probably wanted your counters. It forces you into assault form where you're going to take damage and you can't keep doing your stealth stuff. And you're going to have to rely on either flipping down to try to get back into stealth form or getting one of your cards that can trigger that through one of the other methods. So I really like the theme of it. The way it's kind of like it disarms him. He's out in the open, like the imagery of him in the spotlight up against the wall.
Mhm.
Like he's like trying to pull a Kronk and, he gets the spotlight on him. And
yeah, it's really good spy theme there with him in like
it is.
the spotlight. Yeah,
Yeah, and this
It's
card
great.
has the potential to lose you the game. It's gonna be a little spotty on
Absolutely.
doing it, but, like, it can flip you to assault form, and then he draws another, card that makes him attack you, and if you're not prepared for that, game over, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
'cause
I
you're
like it.
just counting on him only scheming against you, and
Yeah, this isn't one of those, you know, champions hero cards where it's like flip to alter ego, exhaust your hero, like remove this card from the game. That's
Mhm.
not what this is not as easy as that. It will come back and haunt you again in the future. You can't get rid of it. And it really does hurt.
Yeah,
Like
and
you
and
don't even
and
get a free flip to alter ego. You're gonna have to spend your own turn to do that.
and 2 boost icons, not the best, but not the worst, so
Yeah, every obligation is
Standard
basically
obligation.
2, except for a couple random ones like
Yeah.
Hulk and
Slipping sanity.
Hulk and
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it can end up being 1 damage though, right?
yeah.
Like
You can.
flip to assault, take a point of damage. So it does have that.
Now, admittedly, in that situation, at least, you're not really accomplishing a whole lot on as a player. Like you haven't been playing all that well, if that's all it does to you. So it kind of scales to how effectively you're playing.
Yeah, that's true.
True. Very true.
All right. Well, let's move on from the obligation. And Brent, why don't you read us the man of the hour, Orion?
All right. Okay. So we have here Orion. He is a unique minion. He has 2 scheme, 2 attack, 6 health. He has the trait Leviathan. He comes in with toughness. Has a special rule that he can have any number of tough status cards, and a forced response of after Orion takes any amount of damage, give him a tough status card. So anytime you attack him, you are adding tough status cards onto him unless you defeat him. He is Nick Fury's nemesis minion, and he has 3 boost icons.
Yeah, this is fun. I think knowing the backstory a little bit more, uh, you harm him, but he has 100,000 lives, so he gets
Yes.
tough. So you got right.
Yeah.
Um,
If you're not hitting him really solidly, if you're not now pinging his tough off and then taking him out in one hit, you're just going to be stacking more tough onto him.
Mhm.
So unless you're somebody like Wolverine or X-23 or something who just laughs that off, you're going to have to be fighting your way through tough tokens or saving up your big hits for him.
yeah, and a rule to remember is an attack that has piercing removes all status cards
Yeah.
on a character. So even if he has 5 of them, 1 piercing, it will get rid of all of the toughs. So-
Correct.
but
The negative-
otherwise,
Yeah.
if you're doing like onesie twosie damage, you got to hit each tough one at a time. So
other than that, he's 2/2. I mean, maybe villainous would have been nice, but I don't know.
The biggest thing that he needs that he's lacking is elite.
Good point.
Because this minion is very vulnerable to mind control. He has just the right amount of health that you can hit him with show of empathy and turn
coup
him
de
into
grace.
a good guy. You can take care of him with coup de grace. Like these days, there's a lot of ways to get rid of a minion that's not elite.
Yeah.
Without ever having to like attack them at all. Which I mean, I guess for Fury, that's kind of nice. He has ways of potentially getting around Orion without having to fight through him. He doesn't have piercing, but I feel like it really weakens Orion as like a big minion that he doesn't have elite. That would really take him to the next level.
well, I mean, he is technically dead, so he's doing pretty good.
That's true. He's doing pretty good.
He
Pretty
also
good.
only ever appeared in 15 issues of comic books.
Yeah,
But he's like the big boss of a whole sect of super soldiers, albeit ones who were you know, completely obliterated by Nick Fury Sr., but still, like,
Yeah.
he should be elite at
It
least.
almost feels like every Nemesis minion should be elite just to prevent some of that, like mechanically, even if they're not. But we'll
Yeah,
see.
unless they're like the symbiotes for Venom or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, something funky. Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a look at this side scheme that comes with him. Acquire Infinity Formula. The scheme has 5 threat, just static 5. It also has an amplify icon with the forced response. After Nick Fury takes any amount of damage, give Orion a tough status card. If Orion is not in play, find him and put him into play, engaged with Nick Fury. 3 boost icons. And it has the art that must be Orion on the left when he's old man Orion, and Nick Fury on the right, and he's transferring the Infinity Formula. Is
Yeah,
that
that's
what's happening?
exactly what that is. That's
Okay.
withered old Orion right there.
And that is
Suck.
definitely Nick Fury Senior dad bod artwork. So he's got a bit of a gut, I think. Nick Fury does.
I don't know. I think that's his enormous barrel chest.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think art-wise that's
Okay.
what it's supposed to be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely does look like if you look at it from the right angle, it does look like he's just got a big old gut.
I'm like, he's 9 months pregnant. What's going on? What's in this formula? Hey, this is cool. All right, the static 5 is interesting at any time in a multiplayer. In a solo, it's kind of the same, but so this is neat. Nick Fury takes damage. Orion gets a tough.
Yeah.
Or you go get Orion and put him into play. So they are linked. This is
Yeah,
neat.
you can't ignore this one. Like you've got to get rid of it.
Yeah, this definitely plays off of like if Nick can stay in stealth mode, so he's not taking any damage, then Orion doesn't get the boost until Nick can take him out. Like there's some mechanics here to work yourself around. I like the interaction here.
Yeah.
And knowing the story makes a little more sense. Like because they're sharing this formula or they're connected in some way like this, it makes a little bit more sense to me. So yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
It's sort of like Nick is having his blood drained, which is doing the damage, but it's making Orion tough. Yeah, it's cool. I like it.
I love that it pulls Orion into play.
Yes.
So like there's a good chance, obviously, you can clear this right away and maybe not take damage. But depending on how it comes out, if you take damage from a card after this enters play, you might not have an opportunity to get rid of this before this forced response triggers and pulls Orion out. And I think that's fantastic. There's a really good shot that when this enters play, that you're actually going to get Orion.
Yeah, if this is a 4-player game, though, this side scheme with 5 threat on it, it's like, all right, just get rid of it.
Yeah,
it's done with it.
It's getting poofed.
Yeah, it's got to amplify, which is not great in a multiplayer game. It's more damage, more threat, everything going on. The fact that it's amplify means, yeah, too bad Orion isn't villainous, because then it would like boost him even more. But well, all right. Well, I heard there's 100,000 of these next cards. Brent, why don't you tell us about all of these guys?
Yeah, so next up is the Leviathan Soldier. There are 2 of these in this pack.
No, there are 100,000 of them in the pack.
There are
100,000.
It's the most expensive modular ever printed.
Produced.
You have a very large storage case to add it to your deck. But there are 2 copies of this card to represent the 100,000 Leviathan Soldiers. They are minions. They have a 0 scheme with a forced response attached to it. They have 2 attack, 4 health. They are Leviathan traded. They come in with toughness. And that forced response I mentioned is that after a Leviathan soldier schemes for 0 scheme, they deal 1 damage to the engaged player's identity. So scheming is also damage for them. And we've got a little bit of flavor text down here. Formerly a secret branch of the KGB, Leviathan has gone independent with their aim of world domination. And we've got some art of Leviathan soldiers, just a couple of dudes in their weird futuristic kind of body armor that they did not go into the tubes with. They went in wearing like Soviet fatigues and little fur hats, and when they came out, they decided to wear this high-tech space armor. So that's how they look coming out of the tubes.
1 boost icon. Okay.
One boost icon. Sorry.
These cards are great. I love it schemes for 0.
Mm-hmm.
So if Nick is down or he's an alter ego or whatever is happening to make them scheme, he could deal damage. He could deal damage to Nick Fury, which could put a tough on Orion. Like There's a good
Exactly.
synergy there. Yeah.
Mhm.
And they're tough themselves with 4 health, so they take a couple whacks.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, minions with tough are always a little bit more of a thing to contend with, so
I dig their helmets too. I don't care about the rest of the armor, but the weird helmet with the single cyclops with the X thing going on, it's cool.
yeah. I think that's supposed to be reminiscent of the alien brood, um, that some of the technology they used is based on, that they're supposed to their armor maybe is supposed to be, like, based on their technology or something, so the whole headgear is sort of vaguely reminiscent of the brood, but that's a bit of a stretch on my part.
Well, it is comic art, so yeah.
It is. They look unique, I think, which
Yes.
is
Yeah.
nice. They don't look like Hydra. They don't look
Yes.
like,
AIM.
some of these
And
other
and
Right.
that
AIM.
works well on a comic page when they're fighting Hydra, you can tell who is who.
Exactly. Yes.
Mhm.
We don't want to confuse them with one of the other major secret organizations that
Yeah,
regularly show up in the same
you don't
comics.
want to confuse your faceless goons with your unknown henchmen. Like
That's
that's
right.
just a
Yeah.
mess for everyone. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Steve learned that the hard way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we got it straightened out though. All right, there's one left. Scott, why don't you read us the last
That's
one?
right. It's cold storage. It's a treachery. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a Leviathan minion and put it into play. Engage with you. Shuffle. Otherwise, take 2 damage. It has a boost effect, one boost icon, and a boost effect that is take 1 damage. Decent.
Yeah, you're always
I
gonna have something happen.
Yeah, you're always going to get hit with something, right? It's either going to hit you for damage, which again, I like this fuels into the side scheme of Nick Fury taking damage, which triggers the side scheme, right? They kind of build, like you said, the side scheme's not going to stay out. So you're not really going to get that effect. But if they trigger, like you get them in the same run of cards, it might.
Mhm.
So there's a chance that some of this stuff might build on itself. But otherwise, still taking 2 damage, even when you're in alter ego, that would suck.
True,
And
yeah.
if you get a
I've lost
Leviathan
games that
minion,
way.
if you get a Leviathan minion out in front of you, you got to watch out. If they scheme, you're going to take damage. Like this is the sort of thing that can take out Deadpool. It's great. They do
Mhm.
damage to you even if you're in alter ego. I love it. Great.
It
It's the
it
thing.
can definitely take me out where I'll tend to, like, coast by, like, "Alright, well, I'm down to 1, 2 hit points. I'm gonna flip down to alter ego to be safe," and then get popped and lose the
Right.
game.
Then you pull this on a boost for the scheme and you still take damage, right? So
Yeah.
I like modular sets like this that will throw damage at you. You really have to be more careful. You can't just flip down and be like, oh, I'm safe. It's like, no, you're not. These soldiers are still going to get you.
Yeah, or like you pointed out, the boost effect here, while it's only 1 damage,
That's enough.
that can take you out, that can pop your tough, because it happens as the boost. So you pull out the boost card, take 1 damage, boom, there goes your tough, and now you're getting attacked for whatever +1.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the thing to note too, it's not indirect damage, so you have to take it on your identity for
Mhm.
That's
all
right.
of this. And in a solo game, maybe you can't clear the side scheme because you have Orion sitting there as well. I just like how they all play together. The neat thing on cold storage I like as well is there's only 3 Leviathan minions that exist in the entire game. So
That's
in a
right.
4-player game, you might not have a choice. You may have to take the damage,
You may
right?
not.
Um, or even in a solo game, you might have a soldier out. You have to go get uh, Orion again, or something like that might happen. So it's kind of interesting to to look at the numbers. So
A fun artwork thing I just noticed, having just, read through the comics, in the cold storage art, down here in the bottom center of the art, there's a dude in the funky alien armor. That is Magadan, who is one of the 2 guys who got left out of the tubes and was responsible for
Interesting.
tracking down the power source and getting his whole team back.
cool. Maybe that was Orion, but I guess not. Okay.
Now they look a lot alike. They both wear the same type of armor, but Magadan has a little less flare on
Yeah,
his
his
arm.
chest is a little different. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes the art might not match perfectly from one book to another, but yeah, okay, cool. Magadan. So there is another Leviathan minion that we should have. We're gonna need some custom Magadan minions
Mhm.
so that we can have 4 Leviathan minions in the game.
And if
That's right.
we, it is Contessa Allegra Fontaine,
Defontaine.
her
Okay.
is she in the game yet? I can't remember if she's in somebody's pack, but she was the other loyal minion to Leviathan. It turned out that She was the other. She had secretly been loyal to Leviathan for her whole history of comics.
I
Right.
didn't
She's
know
like,
that.
yeah, she's like one of the Nick Fury's girlfriends or lovers for
Hmm.
a while, right? And yeah,
Yeah, yeah. She dates back to like the '60s. She's been around forever as a femme fatale. But yeah, then they wrote her into this story as secretly having always been a part of Leviathan.
That's cool. I don't think we have her in the game yet.
no, we don't. We have like Viper, Madam Hydra, and some of these other ones who might be circling this from the Hydra side, but
Daniel would be upset to read the story that I read where all this came from, where Viper just gets murked in one issue. She's
yeah. Nice. I mean, oh, that's too bad.
but
I'm
then they
laughing for
turn
Daniel's
then
pain,
then they
not
stick like an octopus on her head and turn her into Madam Hydra. So
yeah, so she's okay. All right, well, there we go. Wonderful lore, some interesting
Excellent lore.
cards. Let's give it a rating here. What do you guys think? If you have to grade this, the modular set, not including the obligation, it's sort of always on its own.
I'm going to give it a B. I like the theme. It does build on itself. Orion is a solid minion, but it has some very specific weaknesses. Orion's not elite. The side scheme is pretty easy to get rid of. It doesn't have anything particularly nasty about it other than pulling Orion, but you're going to get them at the same time usually. So I'd say B, maybe B plus. What about you,
Okay.
Brent?
I'm gonna ride right in. I think I have very similar opinions to you. Like I want just a little something more out of this. Like I want it to be just a little bit meatier, but it's still pretty good. I think I'm gonna give it like maybe out of 100,000, I'm gonna give it 85,000. Let's say.
That's
Okay.
a like a C plus, B minus, right?
That's a B
Yeah,
plus.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
solidly
B.
territory right
Okay, B.
there.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. That's fair. I think the lore. I think it has a nice flair to the lore that you told us. That's cool.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I like how it builds on itself. I wish it like could build on itself like more efficiently in the game. Like I think if you are in Magic Villain Miss land and these all hit in the right order and stuff, it can be really cool. But the chances of that are not super high. So I think you guys are in the right ballpark. So.
Yeah. Good art though. I mean, all the cards have good art.
Yeah, I like the graphics for it too. The black, red, and white always has a nice contrast looking color. It's really cool with Orion's outfit too. So, well, it was great. Brent, your first time on, wonderful lore. We're gonna have you back again.
I'll
Yeah,
be happy to come back. I have many opinions.
we love
Well, you fit
opinions.
right in.
Excellent job on the lore. Thanks for doing all that research for us. That was uh, extensive and very interesting.
He read at least 15 issues.
I'd read 15 issues of comics. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, well, folks, please have a safe, happy, healthy Villainous and a happy new year as well. We will have shows running right through. We're going to try not to have any gaps over the holiday season, so stick with us. We've got some fun stuff. And I know we have a contest out there. We're going to wait until after the New Year's before we pull it, just based on all the stuff that's happening. So stay with us. There's still a chance. Go check our socials for the links. You can win a core box to give to a new player, or you can win our Loki Standard 3 alt art packs that we gave away at MCDC. We still got those contests, so take a look. All right. Brent, any last words?
Yeah. Happy holidays to everyone out there. If you celebrate something, celebrate it. We are living in a strange and kind of ugly time right now, and it's a great time to look around you and look at the people you cherish and the things you cherish, the villains who are special to you, and just enjoy the good things and put aside some of the bad for a bit. Play some games with your friends and your family, and I will be happy to see you guys the next time I see you.
Well, everybody, I wish you the happiest of holidays, regardless of which holiday you celebrate during this time. And I hope that you are able to enjoy some Marvel Champions, deviously defeat some of the dubious heroes, and celebrate the true spirit of villainous with family and friends. We love each and every one of you, and we're so grateful for all of you who take the time to listen to us here on this podcast. And if you want to tell us what your favorite holiday tradition is, what your favorite Marvel Champions matchup is, maybe to play on Villainous, you can email us at criticalencounterspod@gmail.com. We are Critical Encounters on Facebook. You can find our YouTube, Twitch, or Patreon by searching for Critical Encounters Podcast. And on Discord, we are Vardan, Lexicon, and Lack of Subtlety. If you like our show, tell your friends. If you don't like our show, tell your enemies. Orion, take us out.
The hunter has returned. Now we will rebuild Leviathan from the bones of the new shield. And once more, the world will tremble.